Everybody, welcome to Storm Talk. Wave 3 News meteorologist Brian Good here on this Monday. We got a lot to cover because there's a lot going on. This is our busiest time of the year, our crucial time of year when it comes to weather. And so let's try to break it down for you the best I can. First off, nice clearing line on the visible satellite showing some decent sunshine working its way in. The front is just right here to our south. This is the leftover of the shower activity we had during the Easter evening event. That's the last of it. But we're already seeing signs of more coming to our west. And here's the key, though. The amount of moisture that is available to work with here, even though the front is stalled out, it's not a very hard line front. You know, it's just kind of a very much a fizzled front, if you will. So because it is so stretched out as far as its moisture content, anything that moves in this afternoon, this is the best area that there could be a shower to reach the ground. That does include Louisville, but it's basically along and south of 64 is your best bet at a rain chance for the afternoon period. And that's important because as we look to the west, our next little wave that is moving in is working its way into the east. Now, this looks like it's going to be mainly where the deeper moisture is to the south, but we can't rule out that even some of these showers here as they work their way into Indiana could survive enough to produce some rainfall in Louisville. And this, again, is going to be later this afternoon. Don't see much in the way of thunder at this point. Depends on how warm we really can get. Because the dew points just really haven't changed a whole lot, but that potential is there. So, again, we're quiet for a while, but this afternoon, another round of rain and thunder possible, especially south, and otherwise mid-70s still look likely, maybe some upper 70s. So, let's look at the high-res model, the HRRR model. It is showing, and it's had a tough time picking out some of the specifics of this, but you see the chance to the north that's struggling with that this afternoon, and you see these little pop-ups in our southern counties where it's trying to determine if something's going to pop up, or we just wait for the main little blob, which again will be mainly south for later this evening. Not a big deal, but at least just want to make sure that we address it. So let's look ahead to tomorrow. The front actually, I would say changes gender, but that's not correct. Changes its characteristics, it becomes a warm front. There we go. And heads northbound. So we're going to get some warmer air back into Indiana, and therefore a chance of rain and some thunder is possible. And then as we get into Wednesday, we're fully in the warm sector here for Wednesday. Really warm day. I'm looking over some of the latest numbers. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to go higher than what I have in there now for the midday show coming up for Wednesday. But I could see us being quite warm again, well into the 80s. And there could be a few thunderstorms on Wednesday. I wouldn't rule that out. And even some of the latest indicators, I can't remember if I put it in the blog here or not, but are coming in with perhaps a gusty thunderstorm. Everything's marginal on its parameters, but it is worth mentioning that one or two of those could be on the gusty side, mainly instability based because just how warm it is, but there's not much of a trigger. That's the issue. Then we get into Thursday. It's a different setup here on Thursday because we have a front that is moving in. Now this is the NAM model. I will say this is the instability from the NAM. At like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, it's already got a lot of activity, mainly in Kentucky. The GFS still has it up here at 3 to 4 in the afternoon on Thursday. Therefore, we get to be warmer, and most of the activity will be an evening threat for thunderstorms, while the NAM is much faster. So because of that, the Storm Prediction Center has not outlooked us yet for any type of severe potential. But as you'll see in a minute, some of the parameters I'm looking at, I think can certainly support an outlook, at least a marginal and perhaps even a slight risk as we head into Thursday afternoon, evening. When you look at the dew points, again, this is all NAM stuff here you're looking at, certainly sufficient for some gusty thunderstorms, a lot of lightning with these dew points in the 60s, very similar to what we saw on Easter. And there is just enough wind shear. It's not off the chart crazy wind shear, but just enough along the boundary that I think it's worth mentioning. When you look at the actual sounding, and I apologize, it's always hard to read these things, but there is CAPE here, forecast CAPE over about 1,000, maybe about 1,200, which is certainly sufficient for a few strong thunderstorms. There's a pocket of dry air for some damaging wind gusts. The shear, it's hard to read, but the shear number is about 34. As you all know, 40 is the benchmark that I like to go by. So that's the one caveat, is there is some wind shear, but it's not like, again, a major ordeal. The thing is, with this being unstable, the instability could, and the dry pocket of air I'm seeing here on the sounding, could lead to some damaging wind gusts. And that's why I think it's worth, I think, at least an outlook on the low end of things. And by the way, when you look at the shear parameters, this looks to be all unidirectional shear. So we're talking about straight line wind type of deals and downburst winds. This is not a setup here for tornado potential on the sounding here, so that's good news. All right, Friday looks quiet. This is a look at the moisture levels on Friday. A cool day. Some dry air works its way in. It could be pretty if we can get the sky to clear out, and that's a chance. We can get the skies to become sunny, but we may get stuck in the 60s all day on Friday. So then we get into thunder. Oh boy, thunder. We've always had a tough forecast for thunder for some reason. Very few years I can recall we've had easy going. Let me give you an example. Here's the GFS where it has the low, say at the beginning of the air show on Thunder Day, Saturday. It had the low on Friday. It had the low over Missouri. Today, its latest indicator, now it's got it back again over the same spot, so that's good. However, between Friday and today, it had the low all the way over here at one point for the air show. And now it's back to its original idea. So we've got to use caution here on the low path. And that's important because with this low, and it's not shown in this map, but there is going to be a warm front stretched like this, and there will be, of course, a cold front. Where you want to be in this kind of a deal, if we had to face this setup anyway, and we've been tracking this for over 10 days now, we always been talking about this, a strong lows coming our way. We knew that was the fact. But when you have two fronts like this, the warm front and the cold front, if you can fit perfectly in between the two, what we call the warm sector here, you can get a south wind. It could be really warm. You can get some sunshine. Not a bad deal. But if you're too close to the warm front, you got problems with a low ceiling, clouds, rain, thunder, and cool weather in some cases, depending on which side of it you're on. And then if you're closer to the cold front side of this, then you got to deal with thunderstorms, and some of those could be on the strong side. So there's not really a great spot to be in this setup. But if there is one that I would pick out personally that I think would be beneficial for a lot of us, it'd be there, right here in the southeast corner. So the low track is important, as well as where the fronts are located, and especially the warm front. When you look at the Euro on Friday, it had the low similar to the GFS really back into Arkansas, but the latest run over Cincinnati speeds it up significantly, and I believe even the Canadian is that way too. This would allow for all the rain to be more on the front end of the day during the air show, and even perhaps even the fireworks, and then drying out since the fireworks are over with. So still some stark differences there. So this is a challenging one. And let me show you an example of why that's the case. I think I put it in here. There we go. I was like, why does that map blink? There we go. All right, so this is an example of why. This is not our official forecast, but it just gives you the complicated idea. Say we were to go with the idea, let's say the GFS here. The warm front's in here Saturday morning. You got cloud cover already. You've got an east wind. Cooler weather is always going to be north of the warm front, warmer to the south. Now, as we head toward the start of the air show, we're getting close to it within an hour. The warm front, according to this model, would then be passing through Louisville. Look at the difference. You guys in our northern counties would barely be in the 50s, while the southern tier jumping quick into the 70s. You're getting to that good spot where an isolated thunderstorm could develop, but you get really warm. But if it moves too fast, then you're going to get into the core of the low where showers and thunderstorms begin to roll in just in time for the fireworks. So there's a lot of questions, guys. Stay tuned for updates. This is not set in stone, but this one's going to be a challenge. This one may take all the way almost to the wire to really get nailed down. I do want to at least give you an early alert outlook on what's going to happen toward the marathon day and opening day at Churchill Downs as well. We're seeing signs of another low. How it progresses is questionable, but there's signs it may try to cut off and provide some chilly air and some rainy weather toward the end of the month. We'll worry about that one later.